Hey guys, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going over my March book haul as well as a book outlet unboxing. So while I feel like I did a really good job at not buying too many books this month, I did end up placing a smallish book outlet order. So we are going to be unboxing this today as well as going over the books that I have already purchased. I think since this box is currently sitting on my lap, we're going to open this one first. Now, I placed this order for one reason only, and that is during the last Buzzword-a-thon, I ended up reading a book that I absolutely just sort of fell in love with, and even though I didn't give it a full 5 stars for certain reasons, I just really liked the writing style and the characters, and I knew that there was a second book out, so I ended up looking on BookOutlet. It was there, so I ended up making this order for like one book alone, and then put other books in here that interested me because of the fact that I wanted to hit that $35 for free shipping. So, the reason that I placed this order was for Haunting the Deep by Adriana Mather. I read How to Hang a Witch during the Buzzword-a-thon and really enjoyed it and the characters, and so I needed the second book. We do have the paperback version of this book at my bookstore, but the other book that I have, I believe I got in a book outlet purchase last year or something like that, and it was also a hardcover, so I obviously had to pick this one up. I don't know too much about this one. It is going to be following the same characters. The first book obviously dealt with like the Salem witch trials, so it was a little bit paranormal. This one apparently is going to be dealing with the Titanic, but with the same characters, and I think they're still living in Salem, so it's going to be very intriguing and interesting to see how the author's going to pull this off. The next book that I have in this box is The Way You Make Me Feel by Maureen Gu. I read I Believe in a Thing Called Love sometime last year and really enjoyed it. It was a really nice sort of fluffy contemporary, and I really wanted to read this one. This is the one that is her next most recent, I want to say, that is currently out. I absolutely love the colors on this cover, and I just had to have it, especially if I was making an order. We have a light blue cover under there. And so I really like the fact that basically all of Maureen Gu's main characters are Asian protagonists, and it seems like this one is another sort of one that's going to be a slightly fluffy contemporary. Our main character apparently doesn't take life too seriously, and apparently one of her jokes goes a little too far, and she's relegated to helping out with her dad's food truck over the summer, and so it's going to be a very sort of summer type of book. It seems like she's going to be learning about friends and all that kind of stuff along the way, and I'm just very excited to read this. Next, we have Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. This is a book that I have heard about so many times, and I just have never quite picked it up for whatever reason. This one is going to be dealing with fan fiction, I believe. I believe one of our characters is like a web comic creator, and the other one is a fan fiction writer based on the webcomic. I'm not too sure, but the premise sounds right up my alley. I love the fact that there are supposed to be like illustrations and things in here as well, and so I just finally broke down and actually purchased it. Next, we have the Magic Misfits by Neil Patrick Harris. This is the first book in his middle grade magicians type of series. This is one of those ones that, again, has been on my radar for a while. It seems absolutely cute and adorable, and Neil Patrick Harris is supposed to actually be coming to a local bookstore to do like a signing within the next few months, and so I feel like I am most likely going to purchase the second book to go get that signed, and then I also have the first one here. I would like to get a jump on reading the first one before I go to that, if I'm able to go. And then next we have the Puffin in Bloom edition of Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This is one of my absolute favorite like classical novels. I don't read very many classics. I don't enjoy very many classics, but it is one that I read in high school and absolutely loved. My edition is like a Barnes & Noble classic, and it is the one from high school. It is very beat up, has like pencil marks all over it from traveling in my backpack, and so I wanted a nicer edition. I'm a little sad that there's some stickers on here, but I will be taking those off shortly. But I just really love this edition. It's like that hardback without a dust jacket. It's just really pretty, and I always knew that if I was going to get a new pretty edition of it, it was going to be this one. It was on sale on BookOutlet, so I picked it up. And then the last one we have in the box here is my only paperback that I purchased, and it's Letters to the Lost by Bridget Kemmerer. The main reason I purchased this one in paperback is I actually have a couple of Bridget Kemmerer's other books, the ones that like nobody seems to remember that she actually wrote, which are her paranormal teen romances. So I have Storm and Spark, I want to say. Those are the first two in that like paranormal YA series. I read the first one a couple years ago, absolutely loved it, and so I picked those two off of, I want to say BookOutlet maybe last year or the year before, but a lot of people seem to only remember that she does contemporary type of stories. I know when she had her newest one coming out, A Curse So Dark and Lonely, everybody was talking about how these are the books that she wrote. And I'm like, she's written paranormal, she's written fantasy type of books before, but, you know, getting off track here. So these are some of the books that I haven't read by her, which are the more contemporary ones, and so when I saw this on BookOutlet, I had to pick it up. I did pick up the paperback because the ones I already have are also in paperback, and I wanted them to be able to sort of sit on the shelf together. I don't remember too much about this except for I believe it is more of a hard-hitting, sad contemporary, but I've heard people rave about it, so I had to pick it up. And now we're going to be jumping into the books that I purchased for myself. Basically, not that many, and most of them are comics or graphic novels. The first one that I have here is Afterglow. This is by Pat Shand and Kaylin Smith. This was a Kickstarter that I did a few months ago, and it finally has arrived. This one I will talk about more in my wrap-up because I already did read it, but it follows our main character and her giant glowing cat in a sort of like post-apocalyptic type of world. I really love Kaylin Smith, who's the illustrator for this. She is the writer and illustrator of Plume, which is like a Western fantasy type of series that I've absolutely loved. I read all of those within the last couple years, so I'm so glad that this was a Kickstarter that has finally arrived. Then I also picked up the first 2 volumes of The Umbrella Academy by Gerard Way and Gabrielle Ba. So I'm one of those great many people that has watched the Umbrella Academy series on Netflix and absolutely loved it. I actually ended up watching it twice within 1 week, mostly because I watched it once all the way through myself and then had to immediately make my husband watch it through with me, and we watched all 10 episodes within 3 days. So I'm a little bit obsessed. I absolutely love the characterization in there and how they set it up and how it's quirky and sort of out there, but it all still sort of fits together. It's just really, really weird and crazy, but I love it. So I had to pick up these books that they were based on. I had the first volume, The Apocalypse Suite, on my Goodreads TBR years ago, I want to say, and for whatever reason I ended up taking it off of my TBR a couple years ago, and so I ended up putting it back on there so I could read these. I will talk about these more in my wrap-up, but I just had to, I guess, give you a little bit of backstory about why I ended up purchasing these. I feel like a lot of people, if they haven't read these already, probably are going to, just because that TV show came out and I've heard so many good things about it. I personally loved it, so I had to pick these up. The Kevin Wada illustrated editions of the new Buffy comics from Boom Studios. So this is volume 1. This is one that I purchased about last month. It just took a little while to come in. This one here is volume 2. This one I just want to say came out at the very end of last month or very beginning of this month. And then the third one, which actually just came in yesterday. So I have not read these yet. I am debating whether or not I'm going to take these out and read them, or if I'm just going to end up waiting for the bind-up edition of them. But these are the alternative covers that Kevin Wada has illustrated for us. I absolutely love these covers. They are so gorgeous. I think they're my favorites out of the entire covers that they have, both the originals and the alternates. Kevin Wada, in case you guys were not aware, is also the artist who did the covers for the paperback and the new cover for Carry On and Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell. So I absolutely love the art. Those are some of my favorite covers of books, and I do follow him on Twitter and Instagram, so when I knew these were coming out, I had to get them. And then the last 2 books that I have here are ones from book boxes. So I will leave the links to these unboxings down below in case you guys are interested in seeing more. But we do have Warrior of the Wilds by Trisha Levenseller. This one came in the February Shelf Love crate. However, this was a book that released at the end of February, so we got it in March. And then we also have Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schulte. This one is the March Owl Crates. And then that was everything that I do have for this month. Obviously, I was trying to be really, really good about my spending, especially on books. I'm sure most of you guys know by now because I can't seem to stop talking about it both on here and in real life. But I have a baby on the way, and so because of that, we are trying to save up some money to make sure we just have, you know, enough set aside. We're not trying to be too frivolous, and book spending is my biggest frivolous category. So I feel like I did pretty well this month. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Leave me a comment down below letting me know if you've read any of these books. I would love to hear from you guys. Subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more videos. I have videos up Mondays and Thursdays, so I will see you then. Bye!